The black son of a world-renowned singer was asked to sing at school, not out of admiration, but as a cruel joke. What happened next? No one saw it coming. "Hey everyone, let's watch the diva's son make a fool of himself," Blake sneered, his laughter echoing through the school auditorium. Around him, privileged teens chuckled and exchanged smirks, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. On the brightly lit stage stood Marcus Johnson, 16 years old, trapped in a circle of blinding light, utterly alone. The crowd before him was a sea of sneering faces, smug, pale, and hungry for humiliation. Westmore Academy was no ordinary high school. It was a sanctuary of the elite, where surnames were brands, luxury cars lined the parking lot, and wealth dictated worth. Marcus didn't belong, at least, that's what they wanted him to believe. A scholarship kid from Oakland, he was Westmore's feel-good diversity story. The son of Vivian Johnson, a soul music icon with 5 Grammys and a voice that defined a generation. But here, he wasn't a legacy. He was a target. Principal Reynolds gave a tight-lipped smile. "The microphone is on, Mr. Johnson. Since you insisted on joining the talent show, we're eager to see what you've got." Insisted? Marcus hadn't signed up for this. Blake and his friends had forged his name, staging this as the ultimate punchline. "Let's see if talent runs in the family," they'd whispered mockingly in the halls. Marcus had never sung in public. He'd spent most of his life hiding from his mother's shadow, not because he was ashamed of her, but because it was exhausting being reduced to just Vivian Johnson's son. His achievements, his struggles, they all got lost behind her spotlight. Funny how when classmates wanted concert tickets or selfies, they forgot his mother was black. But when they wanted to break him down, his skin color became a favorite joke dressed in fake friendliness. "Are you going to sing or are you walking away?" Reynolds pressed, tapping her nails against the armrest. Marcus could feel the pressure like 1,000 pounds on his chest. From the back row, he spotted Blake, phone in hand, ready to record his humiliation and turn it into viral shame. "I don't have anything prepared," Marcus said quietly, his voice steady. "Oh, what a pity," the principal sighed, dramatic as ever. "But I can make something up." A hush fell. The crowd wasn't laughing anymore. In the front row, the music teacher, Mrs. Rivera, looked up sharply. A week ago, she had caught Marcus humming alone in the music room, unaware she was listening. It was the only moment she'd seen his true self. "You don't have to do this," she said softly now, the only adult who ever truly saw him. Marcus had a choice: walk away defeated, or take a stand. He breathed deeply. Anger simmered, yes, but underneath it burned something else: resolve. "I'm going to sing a song my mother wrote," he said calmly, surprising even himself. She never recorded it or shared it with anyone. A ripple of murmurs spread across the room. Even the worst bullies leaned forward, curiosity piqued. An unreleased Vivian Johnson song. That was rare. What they didn't know was this: before the fame, before the tours, Vivian was a single mom singing lullabies to her son in a cramped Oakland apartment. Marcus hadn't just heard her voice, he'd absorbed it. Lived in it. Learned from it. He adjusted the mic, eyes locking with Blake's. The bully's smirk twitched. Something had shifted. "What's the matter, Johnson?" Blake shouted. "Need your mommy to sing it for you?" Laughter rolled across the room again. Marcus closed his eyes. Breathed. And then. "This song is called Invisible Roots," he whispered into the mic. The first note wavered, uncertain. But then, clarity. Strength. Soul. The melody unfolded like a secret long kept. A blend of soul and jazz, the kind of song that didn't just demand pitch, it demanded heart. And Marcus gave it everything. His voice, deep and velvety, surged through the auditorium, rich with emotion and control far beyond his years. Rows of smirks turned into stunned silence. In the third row, Blake stared, stunned. This wasn't the plan. This was something raw, real, and undeniably powerful. Marcus sang about growing beneath concrete, about strength unseen. About history, pain, and pride. His voice filled every corner of that room, not asking for respect, but commanding it. By the final note, no one dared laugh. No one dared move. Silence. Then, thunderous applause. That day, the joke turned into a reckoning. And the boy they tried to shame became the voice they'd never forget. Invisible yet powerful, Marcus's voice echoed with the weight of his ancestors, carrying stories of resilience in a world that tries to tear you down. Each note peeled back a layer of the guarded boy he used to be. In the front row, Mrs. Rivera watched with tears welling in her eyes. She hadn't just seen talent that day in the music room, she had witnessed years of discipline, pain, and passion. After the sheet music had fallen to the floor that day, she had asked him why he'd hidden his voice. "I don't want to be the kid who sings for his mom," Marcus had said with a shrug. "Or the diversity pick who sings. I want to be respected for more than my name or my skin." Rivera had understood. As a Latina pianist who had traded the stage for the classroom, she knew the weight of labels. But to hide your gift, she told him, is to hide who you are. Now, as Marcus's voice filled the auditorium, she knew he had finally embraced that lesson. But then she noticed Blake. He was sneaking out the side door, whispering to two friends, all three smirking. The song hit an interlude. Some students stopped recording. Others looked genuinely moved. Even Principal Reynolds looked unsettled, as if reconsidering her view of Marcus. Then came the sabotage. The stage lights flickered. A sharp feedback screeched through the speakers. Someone had hacked into the technical booth. Marcus missed a note but didn't stop. Suddenly, a harsh, electronic beat overlaid his voice, loud, jarring, humiliating. The audience shifted uneasily. Some laughed, others whispered. Principal Reynolds stood, ready to act. But Marcus didn't flinch. Instead of fighting the beat, he absorbed it, adapting the rhythm, weaving it into his performance. His voice danced with the chaos. Years of watching his mother improvise had taught him this, turned sabotage into sound. Blake's smirk faded. His friends looked confused. The audience, stunned just moments ago, now leaned in. Phones went back up, flashlights waving. A moment meant to humiliate had transformed into something unforgettable. When the song ended, silence held for 2 seconds, then thunderous applause. Real, raw, overwhelming. Thomas, a rich kid usually glued to Blake's side, was the first to rise for a standing ovation. Others followed. Blake stayed seated, arms crossed, face dark with anger. His glare said it all, this isn't over. Backstage, Rivera found Marcus shaking slightly. The adrenaline still coursed through him. "You knew they'd try something, didn't you?" she asked. Marcus nodded. Blake mentioned at the surprise. "That's why I chose that song. My mom wrote it to be flexible, I can improvise based on the crowd." Rivera smiled. "And you knew it well enough to outsmart them. They underestimated you." "They always do," Marcus said with a half smile. "Is that why you performed? To prove them wrong?" He hesitated. "Not exactly. Singing wasn't part of my plan. But last night, I found out about the forged scholarship application, and then I got an email." He paused. "From Berklee College of Music. My mom sent them a recording of me without telling me. They want a live audition next week." Rivera's eyes widened. Berklee is one of the top music schools in the country. Marcus rubbed his face. "I can't believe she thought I was good enough, and never told me." Rivera placed a hand on his shoulder. "Sometimes parents see things in us we're not ready to believe. Just then, a crowd of students entered the dressing room, buzzing with praise. Compliments flew, questions about his mom filled the air. Few noticed Blake standing in the doorway, his expression unreadable, his thumbs flying across his phone screen. As he passed Marcus, he whispered, "Enjoy it while it lasts." I made sure it won't. There was something in his voice, a cold, disturbing certainty that made Marcus's stomach drop. Whatever Blake had planned next, it was going to be worse than flickering lights or audio sabotage. That night, back in his dorm, Marcus's phone buzzed. Someone had uploaded a video of his performance to the school's social media. It wasn't just the video. It was the comments beneath it. The first was from an anonymous account. Find out the truth about Marcus Johnson's so-called talent and why his mother hides him from the spotlight. Link in comments. That was just the beginning. By morning, Marcus's phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Notifications, shares, and tags flooded his screen. But the video wasn't what he expected, it wasn't the performance. It was a cruel montage spliced together with clips of his mother, Vivian Johnson, in her prime, performing the same song. The implication was clear: Marcus was nothing but a copy of his mother, a shadow, not a star. The caption hit like a punch. Exclusive: why diva Vivian Johnson keeps her son off stage. Sources confirm he's been rejected by every label. No originality. Just charity. Hashtag fake talent, hashtag nepotism baby. Marcus's chest tightened. It wasn't the first time someone had tried to bring him down, but never like this. Never in front of the world. His phone rang. He ignored it. Then again. This time, he picked up. "Why are you ignoring my calls?" came his mom's voice. Tense, upset. "I just saw that trash someone posted. I'm getting on a flight." "No, Mom. Please don't," Marcus said quickly. "That'll only make it worse. Blake wants drama. He'll spin it into something bigger." Silence hung between them. Then Vivian said softly, "You're right. This is your story to tell. But let me help in other ways." That night, Marcus lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Beside him, Eli, his usually quiet roommate, glanced up from his laptop. "My dad's a defamation lawyer," he said casually. "And I know some digital tracking stuff." Marcus looked over, surprised. "Since when do you care?" Eli paused, then said, "Since I heard you sing." And then saw what they did. Some things shouldn't be allowed. Meanwhile, across campus, Mrs. Rivera wasn't staying silent either. As the advisor for the school newspaper, she had years of digital files, meeting recordings, emails, transcripts. She invited Marcus to her office and pulled up a folder on her screen. "Listen to this," she said, pressing play. It was Blake's voice, arrogant, casual, talking during student council meetings. Bragging about manipulating the disciplinary board. Laughing about suppressing scholarships. Plotting against students like Marcus. A pattern of bullying and cover-ups. "This," Marcus whispered, stunned. "Is gold," Rivera replied. "We just need the right moment." That moment came quicker than anyone expected. Drunk on his apparent success, Blake called a special student council meeting to discuss artistic integrity in the school's talent show. A clear ploy to humiliate Marcus further. But Thomas, the same classmate who had first applauded Marcus, secretly tipped him off. In the auditorium, students and administrators gathered. Blake stood at the podium, confident in his designer blazer. Principal Reynolds sat nearby, nodding respectfully. "We believe certain performers used unauthorized enhancements to manipulate their performances," Blake began, glancing at Marcus in the crowd. That's when the doors opened. All heads turned. But it wasn't Vivian Johnson. It was a middle-aged black man in a sharp but understated suit. He walked calmly down the aisle. "Apologies if I'm interrupting," he said. His voice was calm, but commanding. Principal Reynolds stood, eyes widening. "Mr. Torres." Richard Torres, Grammy-winning music producer. Industry icon. Marcus's godfather. "I was invited by Mrs. Rivera," he said, "to discuss a potential partnership with Westmore's music program." Blake blinked, caught completely off guard. "I've also seen the video circulating online," Torres continued. "The unedited version." Rivera nodded and tapped her laptop. The projector screen came to life. Not the edited smear video, but Marcus's full performance. From the raw beginning to the light sabotage, and the moment he turned chaos into music. "For 20 years, Torres said, I've worked with raw talent. What I saw in this performance, the courage, the adaptation, that can't be taught." Then the footage changed. Security camera angles. Blake and his friends sneaking into the tech booth. Fingers twisting knobs. Laughter. Principal Reynolds paled. "Security cameras?" she asked. Rivera replied, "Installed last year after a vandalism case." Blake stood up. "That's out of context." "And this?" Torres interrupted. The screen now displayed text messages, screenshots of Blake's sabotage plans. Messages about Marcus. The racism. The jealousy. "Let's bring him down before they realize he's better than us." Silence swept the auditorium. Blake turned to Principal Reynolds, searching for an ally. But her expression was blank. Then Thomas stood, stepping away from Blake. "I sent the messages to Eli and Mrs. Rivera," Thomas said. "It wasn't right. I couldn't stay quiet." Marcus finally rose. Calm. Resolute. "You tried to erase me," he said to Blake. "But you can't erase the truth." When Marcus returned to Westmore Academy, the campus felt different. The hallways were no longer filled with whispers of ridicule or sneers. Instead, there was a newfound respect, maybe even admiration. Former allies of Blake, like Thomas, who had provided key evidence, now greeted Marcus warmly. Other students who had once stayed silent were seeking redemption through gestures of inclusion. Principal Reynolds was replaced by Vice Principal Garcia, a progressive educator who immediately launched a privilege and diversity awareness program. Ms. Rivera was promoted to head of the art department. "You know what's ironic?" Marcus remarked to Ms. Rivera during a counseling session. "Blake wanted to expose me as just the son of a famous singer, but instead, he freed me from that label forever." The album Invisible Roots was released on a quiet spring afternoon. No grand parties or flashy events, just an intimate gathering at Torres' studio with those who truly mattered. Vivian Johnson watched proudly from a corner as her son gave a short speech. This album was born from a need to be seen beyond labels. When we sing, we are not defined by our color, our family, or our past. We are defined by the truth we bring to every note. The response was overwhelming. 3 months after its release, Invisible Roots received 2 Grammy nominations, including Best New Artist. In an interview with Rolling Stone, when asked about Blake and the incident at school, Marcus responded with calm serenity that surprised the interviewer. "I don't thank him for the prejudice or humiliation. No one should ever have to go through that. But I do thank him for giving me the chance to face the fear that was holding me back from being fully myself. Blake wanted to show me my place. Ironically, that's exactly what he did. Just not the place he imagined." Westmore Academy transformed the once toxic talent show into an annual festival of diversity, officially named Festival Raises, after the song Marcus sang that fateful day. The event quickly became one of the most prestigious in the region, attracting diverse talents from across the country. 3 years later, Marcus Johnson returned to Westmore Academy as a special guest for his graduation performance. The irony was not lost on anyone. The same stage that was supposed to humiliate him now celebrated him as a legend. Before singing his final song, Marcus shared a reflection. We all face moments when others try to define who we are and what we're capable of. In those moments, we have a choice. Accept their definition or respond with our own truth. And that truth, once found, has a power no prejudice can silence. Clapperboard if this story of transformation and justice touched your heart. Make sure to subscribe to Silentshift Stories, where we bring you inspiring tales that prove sometimes the greatest triumphs come from the hardest battles. Backhand index pointing down. Share in the comments below. Have you ever faced a moment when someone tried to diminish your worth? How did you respond? Because the most powerful lesson from Marcus Johnson's journey is: true power isn't in what others say about us, but in the truth we carry in our own voice.